Did you know that narcissistic abuse can affect personal hygiene in weird ways? It might sound surprising, but the truth is that the emotional toll of dealing with a narcissist can seep into many areas of your life, including how you care for yourself. It often comes from stress, low self-esteem, and feeling overwhelmed. Today, we will dive into some of the odd and unexpected ways that narcissistic abuse can impact your hygiene habits. Are you ready for number 1? Skipping showers for days. You might find yourself skipping showers for days after dealing with narcissistic abuse, and it is not because you are suddenly trying out a minimalist water conservation lifestyle. It's more like your brain is stuck in survival mode, and essential self-care disappears. Dr. Ramani Duvasula, a clinical psychologist, explains that narcissistic abuse can make you feel so emotionally drained that even something as simple as a shower feels burdensome. And let's be honest, when you're mentally exhausted, hygiene isn't exactly at the top of your to-do list. It's not that you want to smell like a sock, it's just that you're too worn out to care. Let's talk about number 2, overshowering. On the flip side, narcissistic abuse can have you overshowering like you're auditioning for a soap commercial. You're trying to wash away all the toxic vibes, scrubbing off the bad energy. Psychologist Dr. Judith Orloff talks about how narcissistic abuse can leave you feeling so emotionally dirty that you think a 30-minute shower will somehow fix everything. Spoiler, it won't. It's understandable. When dealing with all that manipulation and gaslighting, sometimes it feels like the only thing you can control is how squeaky clean you are, even if you're rinsing off more stress than actual dirt. Let's move on to number 3. Using the same toothbrush for months without replacing it. After dealing with narcissistic abuse, you might find yourself using the same toothbrush for months like it's some kind of sentimental keepsake. It's not that you're trying to save money or start a new trend in minimalism. It's just that your brain is so fried that replacing it seems like one of those "I'll do it tomorrow" tasks that never happens. According to Dr. Ramani Duvasula, narcissistic abuse can leave you in such a fog that even simple decisions feel overwhelming. Plus, let's be honest, when you're mentally drained, what's one more day with a toothbrush that's seen better days, right? Now, let's continue to number 4. Brushing teeth excessively. After narcissistic abuse, you might find yourself brushing your teeth excessively like you're in some kind of toothpaste commercial marathon. It's as if you're trying to scrub away all the emotional grime and gaslighting residue. Dr. Shari Steins, a therapist who specializes in narcissistic abuse, says that abuse survivors often develop rituals to cope with feelings of powerlessness. Brushing your teeth too much becomes a way to feel clean and in control when everything else in your life feels chaotic. Sure, it won't erase all the mind games, but at least your teeth are sparkling. But seriously, it's your brain's way of dealing with all that stress. You're just hoping minty fresh breath will somehow make things feel a little more bearable. You can't miss number 5, letting laundry pile up until it's a mountain. You might find yourself letting your laundry pile up until it resembles a mini Everest in the corner of your room. And honestly, who could blame you? When you're dealing with the aftermath of narcissistic abuse, it can feel like tackling that mountain is just one more thing on your never-ending to-do list that you just can't face. According to therapist Dr. Sherry Campbell, this kind of avoidance often stems from feeling overwhelmed and disconnected from yourself. Why deal with dirty socks when you can just pretend they don't exist, right? Plus, let's be honest, sometimes that pile is just a great excuse to wear your favorite pajamas for another day or week. After all, clean clothes are overrated when you're in survival mode. Are you still up for number 6? Skipping haircuts for months? You might skip haircuts for months, letting your hair grow wild. When you're recovering from narcissistic abuse, taking care of your appearance can feel low on the priority list. Like, who has the energy to schedule a haircut when you're just trying to survive the day? According to psychologist Dr. Alexandra Solomon, this can happen when you're emotionally drained and neglecting self-care becomes the norm. Plus, let's be honest, who doesn't enjoy that "I just rolled out of bed" look? It's practically a fashion statement at this point. So while your hair may resemble a bird's nest, at least you can say you're embracing your inner free spirit. Let's keep it moving to number 7. Obsessively cleaning the bed. You might find yourself obsessively cleaning your bed, treating it like a shrine of purity in the middle of your chaotic life. After dealing with narcissistic abuse, the bed can feel like your only safe space, so keeping it spotless becomes a way to regain control over your environment. Life coach Tony Robbins says, creating a sense of order in your space can help calm your mind. So, it makes sense that you'd vacuum those sheets like they will be displayed at a 5-star hotel. But let's be honest, while you're scrubbing away, you might also be trying to wash away the chaos in your head, as if cleanliness will somehow keep all those toxic thoughts at bay. Who knew that a pillowcase could become your personal therapy session? Here comes number 8. Avoiding skincare routines. When you're facing narcissistic abuse, you might find yourself avoiding your skincare routine, even when you notice acne or irritation popping up. It's not that you don't care about your skin, but the emotional weight of the abuse can make taking care of yourself feel like an impossible task. According to psychologist Dr. Andrea Bonjour, neglecting self-care can often be a sign that you're too focused on surviving emotionally to bother with the outside stuff. You might feel too drained to follow through with your skincare or believe you no longer deserve that care. It's like your mental state affects how you see your own well-being, and in a time of emotional chaos, your skin can become just another thing to neglect. Moving on to number 9. Overusing hand sanitizer. You might find yourself overusing hand sanitizer like it's a magical potion that will save you from all the bad vibes around you. After dealing with narcissistic abuse, it can feel like everything is contaminated, and slathering on that goo becomes a way to cope with the chaos in your life. According to therapist Dr. John Amodeo, this kind of excessive sanitizing can be a way to regain control when everything else feels out of whack. So, you're pumping that sanitizer like it's your new best friend. And who can blame you? It's just a little bottle of instant relief. Finally, we're down to number 10. Using excessive deodorant. When you're dealing with narcissistic abuse, you might start using excessive deodorant, almost like you're trying to cover up more than just body odor. This can happen because you feel anxious or insecure, and applying deodorant becomes a way to manage those feelings. Dr. Ramani Durvasula, a psychologist who specializes in narcissism, explains that abuse can leave you feeling hyper-aware of how others perceive you. So, slathering on more deodorant might feel like a way to protect yourself from judgment or criticism, even if it's just a tiny part of your daily routine. It's not only about staying fresh, it's about trying to regain control and reassurance in a situation that often feels out of your hands. Narcissistic abuse can mess with our hygiene in some pretty weird ways. It's not just about feeling low or overwhelmed. It can lead to many habits we might not even realize we've picked up. Our self-care takes a backseat while trying to navigate the emotional chaos. But here's the good news. Understanding these effects is the first step toward taking control. By recognizing how narcissistic abuse has influenced our daily habits, we can start to make changes. Whether setting small goals for self-care or seeking support from friends or professionals, it's possible to reclaim our hygiene and, more importantly, our well-being.